Good morning. Good morning. This is Valerie Leonard. I am the founder of nonprofit Utopia, and I want to welcome you to this morning's Zoom meeting. We're going to be focusing on the power of visualization. And before I get started, just wanted to pull up my screen so that I can share it with you. Alrighty, so we're going to be talking about the power of visualization. We are hitting the reset button here in the nonprofit Utopia community. That is, we're taking stock of where we've been at the beginning of the year, where we're going. And in order to do that, we have really taken a time to do some self analysis. We analyzed our leadership style, and we also assessed our leadership strengths. And then the following week, we assessed the capabilities of our organizations. And then we also learned how to put together leadership plans based on the information given from all of those assessments. So this week, we're going to focus on the power of visualization so that we can focus not only on the goals that we set in those plans, but actually use tools to help us increase our chances of meeting those goals. All right. So, in addition to writing the plans, we're going to look at visualization so we can focus daily on the goals and objectives that we have set so that we can create the reality that we want to create, this either in our personal lives or in our professional lives. All right, so I want to give you a little information about nonprofit. Oh, you know what? I am not sharing my screen. So if you can bear with me for just a moment, I'm going to share my screen because you can't see what I see. All right. So, all righty. So now we're going to go to our slideshow. We're going to be talking about the power of visualization. Again, we want to focus on ways that we can increase our chances of meeting our goals and objectives, and a powerful tool to use is visualization. And before we go into that, I want to talk about nonprofit Utopia. We're the ideal community for emerging nonprofit leaders, and we've created a safe space where our members can innovate and share lessons learned and really speak candidly about the issues that they confront on a day-to-day basis. And our mission is to develop the next generation of ethical nonprofit leaders. And we want to make sure that we have created an environment where folks who are more experienced can actually cross pollinate ideas with people who are less experienced or who are younger. And the overarching goal is to give our members the tools that they need to develop themselves as they create sustainable organizations. And our vision is to strengthen the nonprofit sector. And we're going to do this by providing training and development opportunities to 50,000 people between now and 2033. If you want to learn more about Nonprofit Utopia, please visit nonprofitutopia.com. And if you want to join us, I encourage you to do so. Go to nonprofitutopia.mn.co. You can learn more about us and join and become a regular member. The advantage to the membership is not only do you get access to trainings like this one, but you get, a number of different tools. We have downloadable courses, we have coaching, we also have a number of webinars and, courses on demand. All right, to give you a little bit about myself, I am a consultant to nonprofits, and I've been doing this since 2003. And before that, I ran a nonprofit organization myself. And I work with nonprofit organizations to help them find the answer to questions like, how do I start a new organization and stay out of trouble? There's a lot of legalities involved in running a nonprofit organization. Other questions they might want to know, where can I find good board members that'll buy into my vision as well as raise money? Other questions could be, how do we put together a collaborative where we can strengthen our organization as well as strengthen our members and make a huge impact to the community? And over the years, I've helped over 750 people to reach their goals and aspirations, and that includes helping to raise over $100 million. And that has been done through grant writing, fundraising, as well as technical assistance. So before we get into the meat of everything, and I promise you this is going to be a very light subject, even though it can have powerful results. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page and using the same language. So the first term we're going to focus on is visualization. And according to John Kehoe, the founder of Mind Power, visualization is simply a mental rehearsal. You create images in your mind of having or doing whatever it is that you want. You then repeat these images over and over again daily for about 5 minutes a day. And in your 5 minute practice, use your imagination to see yourself being successful in whatever goal that you may have. And then we want to tell you about a vision board. And a vision board is, very simple. It's a collage or a collection of images that create a picture of the lives that we want to create for ourselves. This could be on a professional basis. This could be professional, personal, or spiritual. Any goal that you want to achieve, you can put it on a vision board. Some people use vision boards and they might focus on one aspect of their lives or one particular goal. Some kind of mix it all together and look at their lives holistically. However you want to do it, that's up to you. Alrighty, and here's a quote from Jack Canfield. And he says, by adding a visualization practice to your daily routine, you will naturally become more motivated to reach your goals. You'll start to notice that you're unexpectedly doing things that move you closer to your ideal life. And suddenly you find yourself volunteering to take on more responsibility at work, speaking out at staff meetings, asking more directly for what you want, and taking more risk in your personal as well as your professional life, and experiencing better payoffs. All right, and I'm sure you've heard this before. This is nothing new, but we're actually going to put this into practice from now until. All right, and some people would suggest that you not only create the vision boards, because you can go through that exercise of creating the board, but if you don't regularly focus on the things that you want in your life, if you don't regularly focus on positive affirmations for yourself, it makes it a little bit more difficult to achieve. So one suggestion is to include affirmations about yourself. And those are, basically very positive self-talk. We have this tendency, most of us, to have negative thoughts and focus on negative thoughts. One way to counter those is through positive affirmations. Write nice things about yourself. You might want to journal and go a little bit more deeper than just the positive sayings. Okay, the next thing you should do is write down your goals and objectives for the year. And if you're a member following along in the workbook, you will have already done your homework. You would have done your goals and objectives, and you're going to use those goals and your objectives, for your organization, for your personal, professional development plans. You're going to use those to actually inform what you post on your boards. All right, so we're looking for the goals to be SMART goals. That is, they should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So you want to give yourself a deadline within which to create your vision, right? We realize some things we may not have complete control over, but if we start to put in, deadlines for our goals, then we can actually increase our chances of not only meeting the goals, but we create momentum, and energy begets energy. So you begin to have small successes and those snowball and create larger successes. The next thing you want to do is collect a bundle of old magazines, and you want to, look in those magazines and, get some ideas. You want to select pictures and phrases that symbolize what it is you want to achieve. So in this example, I want to be, a successful entrepreneur, right? So this picture resonated with me. You, as a nonprofit leader, there may be a picture that resonates with you as it relates to having a strong nonprofit, as it relates to starting your own organization, as it relates to leading your department. So you want to collect those pictures that symbolize whatever theme it is that you're focusing on. And then you want to make a collage. And here is a really good example. I want to move myself out of the way. And then some people suggest that you actually put yourself in this picture, so that it becomes more real. So here is an example of a vision board that, a woman, she wanted to make sure that not only she emphasizes her personal life, but also she wants to look at her academic life, the academic life of her child as well. So this is a very holistic board focusing on her lifestyle as well as some of the personal goals that she might have. And then here, I want to remind you, you want to add affirmations, include the affirmations right there in your board. So as you're creating pictures, you're also creating thoughts and attitudes. So the goal is not to just create something that looks nice, but you want something that's going to actually make you feel good and something that's going to motivate you to actually take action. And then you want to take a few minutes every day to contemplate, the visions that you have on your visioning board, right? Jack Canfield suggests that you do this twice a day, once before you wake up. Once before you start your day, right after you wake up, and then once right before you go to bed, so that you're focusing, so your self-conscious can really, really take a deep dive and do the work for you and really soak this stuff in. And for those of you who are Christian or of any faith, you might also want to include things that will help you spiritually or reinforce your spiritual knowledge, with the understanding. I'm a believer in God. I believe that God is in control, and I believe that God will help me to meet my goals. So when I do this exercise, I'm going to also include some affirmations of my faith and integrate all of that together. You don't have to do that if you're not a believer, but it's for those of you who are believers. Now, here is an example from Jack Canfield, and he's got pictures of himself on Time magazine. He has a goal here. He wants his breakthrough success to be sold out. He wants to have luxury retreats for people, and he wants those to be full with a waiting list. He wants to have his retreats at a very exclusive location. So he included pictures of what that could look like. He's got a 30-day sobriety solution, and he posts that to put that in front of him, focusing on some of his past successes as well as his goals. He has an ideal weight set for himself of 195 pounds. So you can see that he has a somewhat holistic picture, but it does lean more toward the professional. But I will say that Jack Canfield, he has a number of these boards. This is not his only board, but this is an example. And here is an example from the Reset Girls, pardon my typo. You see here, and let me literally get out of the way here. She wants to make sure that there's an intentionality about achieving her goals and objectives. And you see here that she has affirmations. The pain you feel today will be the strength you feel tomorrow. These are her goals for 2017. She wants to have a recreational vehicle and go out in the wild blue yonder and live in her RV. She wants to make sure she's debt free. She wants to become a new person. She wants to be a fighter, and she wants to focus on her creativity and keep calm. So that is one example. And if you can bear with me, I did something quite unexpected, and I need to get that back. All right. Speaking of reset. Okay, so again, Jack Canfield suggests that we look at this, take 10 minutes a day, twice a day. Read your goals or affirmations out loud, and after each one, close your eyes and create the visual image of your completed goal or your dream life in your mind. And to make it come really, really real, add sounds and smells and tastes to your vision. You want to add the emotions and bodily sensations you will be feeling if you already achieved your goal. So, there's a term that we have in evaluation. How do you operationalize your question? So there may be a question that you have in your evaluation, and you want to operationalize it. And when we say that, what is the evidence that you have actually achieved your goal? So the same thing with visualization. You want to verify in your mind or clarify in your mind what that looks like. What's the evidence that you have actually achieved the success that you're looking for? And once you visualize each goal is complete, you then release, and then you go about your day. And then here is another example from Elements Jewelry. These are examples from 2019, and they're saying this is their year. She's saying every dollar I spend comes back to me multiplied. She wants to enjoy her day. She wants to be a boss. And, again, I don't know what all of these pictures mean. They clearly have some symbolization, some special meaning for her. But, some of the stuff is more obvious. And, you can do whatever you want with yours, but I would recommend that whatever pictures you use, whatever sayings you use, arrange them in such a way and include things that help you really, really make your vision as specific as possible, making it crystal clear. I like this example of a vision board because it's a little bit different. It is a little bit, it's even more creative. And in this particular example, this is more or less self-affirmations. So the artist started with herself, I am, right? I am in Christ. I am a child of God. I am worthy. So on all of these spokes, are, different aspects of her life. I am an art journalist. I am creative. I am a blogger. I am a voice, right? So I think that is, really cool. And this is just a close up of a section of that same visual. Okay, and you can also use vision boards, for your own meetings. If you're going through a process, say a strategic planning process, or you're doing a retreat with your board, a retreat with your department, a retreat with your youth. Um, Here's some examples from a public meeting that nonprofit Utopia participated in with Providence Bank a couple years ago. We participated in On the Table, which is a series of conversations held on the same day around the city of Chicago on a specific issue. And 2 years ago, we're focusing on ways to eliminate the wealth gap between African Americans on the South and West sides and the rest of, in the mainstream community. All right, so here is an example where they focused on issues on wealth creation. So they looked at the issues and some of the solutions. All right, so another group of people focused on economic development. They identified the issues, the solutions, and created a vision. And then we did the same thing with job creation. So each table was tasked to, take on an issue, um, the vision. All right, so now we're asking you to create your own vision board. And the only thing that you need would be basically things like a poster board. You can get that from the dollar store. Poster board, glue, or glue stick, pictures from old magazines. You can even do printouts from computers. You can be creative and actually use cloth and use other things to pose other objects to make it come alive. You can use paint. You can make it a multimedia board. And this time next week, I'm going to share you an example of what I've come up with. I've asked people in our community, and we have at least one person from our community who is going to share an example of his board. All right. So if you have any questions about this webinar, you can email me at ValerieFLeonard@nonprofitutopia.com. If you are a member of the Nonprofit Utopia community, feel free to post any questions or concerns that you might have in our forum. We also have for you a checklist of things that can help you to make your board more focused and more effective. We also have links to articles as well as links to a workbook that will help you make a more effective board. All right. So if you want to follow us, we encourage you to follow us on Twitter at Nonprofit Utopia. And you can also follow us on Facebook to keep in touch with us and also keep track of what we're doing. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to stop the screen share. And I want to say thank you so much for joining us. And I'd be really, really interested in knowing whether or not you plan to do a board. And if you do plan to do a board, please indicate in the comment section on Facebook or YouTube. And I will be sure to follow up with you. And if you're going to do it as part of this exercise, we're going to be showing off what we have created on next Friday. So on Friday, July 31st, I'm going to share what I've come up with my own journey. So I'll share with you my vision for nonprofit Utopia, for my personal life. And we also have, one of our members who is doing it as well. If you'd like to share, please let me know, and I'll make sure that we pull you on and let you go through your vision. So we're going to be doing that within a week. All right. So again, I want to say thank you so much for taking up the time to share with me. This was a short session, but I think it's one of our most powerful sessions because we're actually going to be putting our vision, making it plain, and creating a pathway toward meeting that vision. So until next week, you take care.